Hi, this is Tim Radcliff, and he's an incumbent on the Carroll County Council running for re-election, council at large. So Tim,
Yes.
hiya.
Hi.
Okay, so why don't you, state your name and say where you live. You don't have to give the specific address, and talk a little bit about your family. Married, got some kids, I think,
Yes.
and and kind of your education, memberships. I mean, this is just personal stuff.
Sure.
Okay.
So I am Tim Radcliff. I am a current member of the council in Carroll County, finishing up my first 4-year term. I am married. My wife Amy and I have been married. This will be our 20th year in July of 2020. So I made it easy for the math portion. When somebody asked me how long have you been married, we got married in 2000, so I can just add those years up real quickly.
Yes.
We have 5 children, all boys.
Are they all adults? They aren't, are they?
No.
No.
Our oldest is 18, but then we've got, and he just is graduating from Carroll this year, so he's finishing up his senior year. And then we've got a freshman who is 15. A 7th grader who is 13, and 2 finishing up 5th grade boys. They're 11 and will be 12. So it's never a dull moment in our house. We're pretty active in our community, and that's one thing that was really important to me when I was initially running for council, and now as a council member. Just engagement in our community and doing whatever we can as a family and as individuals to make this a better place to live and be active in. So we go to Faith Church of Christ in Burlington. Our boys play sports at Carroll. My wife coaches junior high swimming at Carroll. I coach junior high soccer. Just a lot of involvement and engagement in the community, which we really find to be important. And also a blessing too. I mean, it's a great way for us to build relationships and feel that much more rooted in this community. We live just north of Cutler, on the north side of Wildcat Creek. I don't know what else would be real pertinent for me to share.
I think what kind of employment you have. What do you do for a living?
Yeah.
You don't have to say the name, but kind of the
Yep.
genre.
Yeah, so I am a software technical writer. I don't write code. I'm not a coder. What I do is I write documentation for the software that my employer releases. So right now, Simpson Strong Tie is the employer that I work for. They put out certain software that corresponds with their product, and then I write the documentation that the software user would use in terms of understanding the functionality of that software.
Okay, thank you. So, why do you want to serve another 4 terms on the council?
Yeah,
It's
great
been so
question.
much fun so far.
It
has. Yeah.
It really has.
It has.
So these last 4 years have really been both challenging, rewarding, for me, certainly a training ground that I feel like has built a great foundation for the next 4 years. I want to pause right here and give thanks to Ann Brown, Jason Scott, Jamie Ruff, and Al Offer. Those 4 people over these last 4 years, and of course we miss Al, but those 4 people really helped me understand and grow in this role of councilman. And this has been just a great opportunity for me to grow professionally, to understand what county leadership means and looks like, and has really built a great foundation for me that I want to continue on these next 4 years. We have got some big projects and some big challenges, both known and unknown, I believe, that I want to be a part of these next 4 years. Most notably the jail project. That's something that over these last 2 years, I've been really entrenched in, and something that we have worked very hard as a council on. And I really want to see that to fruition. I want to see that to the end. And I've always been of the opinion that that'll be an asset for the county, that it's something that's needed, that it'll provide increased safety for our law enforcement officers and jailers. It'll reduce, I believe, the liability that the county currently has in terms of population and crowding. And so it's all needed, and I see the value in it, and I really want to see it through over these next 4 years. Also, you know, there are some other exciting things that I think we can continue to do. Over these last 4 years that I've served, we've been able to add, we've added a deputy to the sheriff's department. We've added personnel in a couple of the offices within the courthouse. We added animal control. We have been able to continue to upgrade and replace service fleet. I'm thinking of a new ambulance last year. We've got new sheriff patrol cars coming on board, if not already soon. And so there are opportunities in these next 4 years to continue that growth, to continue the service that we and everybody else in the county provide to the residents, and I want to be a part of that.
Okay. My next question is what's the responsibilities of the council? And I think you kind of have already described a lot of that, but kind of go over what the difference between the council and other elected officials are. Lots of times we see in council meetings, you know, the room is stacked with other elected officials, other people, other employees, and of course there are the commissioners. So just kind of talk about that interplay, if you would, from your experience, because you've been doing it for 3.5 years.
Sure.
Or kind of, sort of. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So to answer the first part of your question, council is responsible for overseeing the fiscal component to the county, right? So we oversee the budget, we oversee the way that tax revenues and the county's money is utilized for the betterment of our residents. And so that's first and foremost our responsibility. The commissioners are more, I don't know if executive or legislative, not legislative, but yeah, I'm drawing a blank on how
They're legislative.
Are they?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Well, because they you know, they do the ordinances.
Yes.
And that's legislation.
Yeah.
Basically.
Okay. So,
yeah.
So they oversee the legislative component to the county, and we really have tried over these last 4 years to cooperate with one another and work together on certain issues. Again, most notably the jail project, but that's been for myself and other members of council, that's been a real priority, is to try and work in collaboration with the commissioners and make sure that as leaders in this county, we're working together and not against each other. And then you're right, in various council meetings and even in joint meetings with the commissioners, there are a lot of other leaders that are there and are vested in the decisions and the conversations that we have in those meetings. And so, you know, you've got the auditor who is responsible for a lot of the administrative work of both the commissioners and the council. Work very closely as a council member with the auditor. And then, you know, you've got our sheriff, Tobe Lazenby, our director of ambulance, EMS, Doug Atkinson, Mike Fincher as our EMA director, And then, even the folks that work in the courthouse, along with the auditor, the assessor, the treasurer. Certainly the treasurer is of importance to a council member because we look at that treasurer's report, we look at where our money is being invested, where it's being held. We look at our tax revenues, whether it's property taxes that come into the treasurer's office. And so all of these individuals play a vital role in our county and have to work together and work side by side to make sure that our county runs well and that we're healthy in the way that we operate. And one of the things that I would point out here that I'm pretty proud of is the initiative that we've taken as a council to partner up with certain departments within the county. So there are 7 members of council. We all have roughly 4, maybe 5 different departments, depending on how it divides out. But we all have departments that we represent and that we work very closely with to make sure that one, those departments are well represented in our council meetings, and then 2, to make sure that if there are any issues, if there are any concerns, whether it be transfer, additionals, something of that nature, we can address it and understand it, and then make an informed decision on it in our council meetings. So this has really been, in my opinion, something that has been helpful, because now we have this additional cooperation between the council and these department heads, and it creates increased communication, increased collaboration, and I think it's good for everybody, all parties involved, really.
Okay. Do you believe that you are advocates for those departments, or advisors?
More so advocates. So I understand that when this first was rolled out in 2019, there was some concern that we were providing additional oversight, if you will, that we were micromanaging. And I want to really take opportunity to communicate that was not the intention. And I personally, and I think this could be said for the other 6 members of the council, but I personally never felt like that was our role. This is to better communicate and work alongside the different departments within our county. I'll give you an example. I was invited to the EMS quarterly meetings as a representative for EMS, and it really helped me understand the different things that Doug is working on, and the challenges that he faces, the ways that he could potentially streamline the ambulance operation and the garages. It helped me understand how they have to interact with other counties, because we don't have a hospital here in our county. So every run that they go on, then if that person needs to go to the hospital, they're going to a neighboring county and working with those county leaders and officials, in cooperation. So this was an opportunity for us as council members to really work alongside and collaborate with those departments, not provide necessarily additional oversight, or advise them on how to do their job. That's not our role. So I really feel strongly that this is a positive, and that it's worked really well, and that we've been able to avoid a lot of communication and perception challenges. If an elected official or department needs additional money, or they need to transfer money within their budget, we should be able to, because we're working in partnership and working alongside each other, we should be able to come to a monthly meeting and already understand the reasoning for that additional or that transfer,
Mm-hmm.
and it should streamline our process within the meeting. It should make the decision be that much easier to come to, eliminate additional questioning and conversation in the meeting, and really be a benefit for everybody.
So, kind of dovetailing with that, uh, you all have gone to something called a consent agenda. And that's all the transfers and the minutes, and I can't remember what else, but most of the time there are no discussions about any of that. And is that the way you think it should be? Are you good with that?
I am good with that. That's really predicated on everybody doing their due diligence ahead of the meeting. And again, if you're in partnership with, if you're talking to, if you're meeting with your departments that you represent, then you should be prepared and understand what is in that portion of the agenda that is referred to as the consent agenda.
What I'm noticing though is no other council member has a question about a department that they don't represent.
Yeah,
And I worry about that a little bit.
Yeah, and yeah, that's fair. I will tell you, and I don't want to speak for anybody else, but I will tell you that those conversations are being had. There is time that is being put into making sure we understand and don't have any questions ahead of the meeting. And so, I think it's a valid concern. I think it's something that we need to stay on top of, and I can't speak definitively for every council member. But I know for me, I know for the conversations that I'm privy to and the information that I'm privy to ahead of a meeting, I'm comfortable with continuing that process of consent agenda where we say, look, these are things that we're comfortable with from the get-go. We've done the homework on the front end, and we're comfortable with moving forward with these things. And I think our council meetings, at times have been 2-3 hours long, where we're discussing a lot of stuff, and we're mulling over things that we feel like need mulled over. That consent agenda is one thing that we can do quickly with a level of comfort that we're giving it the due diligence on the front end and move forward.
Okay. And the last question is, why are you a better choice to serve on the council than anybody else? I mean, I know that 3 of you will be elected and 3 of you will not.
Yeah.
But what makes you, why do you think people should vote for you, I guess is the question.
Sure. I would really answer that in 2 parts. The first part, going back to my initial introduction, we are completely invested in this community, and I feel strongly about Carroll County and its health and well-being. And so I would want to communicate to voters out there that if you vote for Tim Radcliff, you're voting for somebody who is rooted in Carroll County and wants to see Carroll County continue to prosper. I think we've done a really good job these last 4 years of making decisions that benefit the county and those who live in it, and I want to continue that. The second reason is I know the position, I know the responsibilities, I know the processes. I've put the time in from a training and onboarding perspective. That's behind me now, and so to vote for me is voting for somebody who hits the ground running in a second 4-year term, that knows what needs to happen, knows who to talk to, knows how to operate within local government on a council for the best interest of Carroll County. One thing that I will mention, I've never been uncomfortable with my ability to lead and with my ability to make decisions that I feel benefit our county and communities. What I have had to learn and understand is the political component to this position, meaning understanding how to look around the corner and anticipate how your decision or how your comments or how your views on things are going to impact somebody else. And so I've really tried to learn and understand that so that we can minimize confusion, minimize frustration, work together, maximize communication and collaboration in between the departments and in between the leaders of our county to make sure we keep moving in the right direction. And I think, that's really important when you're thinking through who you're going to vote for. You may know somebody, you may think somebody would be a good fit, but Tim Radcliff is somebody who's been there, who is proven at this point, and I want to continue the work that we've started over these last 4 years in the next 4 years.
All right. Thank you very much for your interview,
Yeah, thank you.
and we wish you luck.
Thank you.